This Read Aloud is brought to you by Walnut Middle School's Media Center.
Hello everyone, I'm Miss Moyers. I teach 7th grade social studies on the Patriots team. Last year I read my favorite graphic novel. It is Roller Girl. Super great book because I play roller derby, which is a really awesome, fun sport, and that's why Mr. Martin was talking about Maestro Mall earlier. That's my name. In Spanish, it means bad teacher. Shh, it's funny. Okay, today I'm going to read my all-time ever favorite book. It's called Stargirl. It doesn't actually say it, but you get the point. It's by an amazing author named Jerry Spinelli. He is, like, I have a reader crush on the guy. He's super old, but he's just such a good author. This is a wonderful book. It's written, although it says it's Stargirl, it's written from a point of view from a boy, and his name is Leo, but it's his watching and encountering a new student, and her name is Stargirl. And I love this book because this, as you'll hear from the part that I'm going to read, Stargirl is just a very unique and kind of weird girl, but in a total awesome way. Like, she is just so amazing, and I think it's really cool because it kind of gives you liberty to discuss and find who you are as a person and be okay with kind of being unique and not always fitting into the perfect bubble that is normalcy, is what our peers think. So I'm going to start from the very beginning. I'm going to read about a few pages from the very beginning of Stargirl. Did you see her? That was the first thing Kevin said to me on the first day of school, 11th grade. We were waiting for the bell to ring. See who? I said. Ha! He craned his neck, scanning the mob. He had witnessed something remarkable. It showed on his face. He grinned, still scanning. You'll know. There were hundreds of us milling about, calling names, pointing to summer-tanned faces we hadn't seen since June. Our interest in each other was never keener than those 15 minutes before the first bell of the first day. I punched his arm. Who? The bell rang. We poured inside. I heard it again in homeroom, whispered behind me as we said the Pledge of Allegiance. Did you see her? I heard it in the hallways. I heard it in English and in geometry. Did you see her? Did you see her? Who could it be? A new student? A particular blonde from California? Or back east, where many of us came from? Or was it one of those summer makeovers? Someone who leaves in June looking like a little girl and returns in September like a full-bodied woman? A 10-week miracle? Then, in earth science, a name came to me. Stargirl. I turned to the senior slouching behind me. Stargirl? I said. What kind of name is that? That's it. Stargirl Caraway. She said it in homeroom. Stargirl. Yeah. Then I saw her. At lunch. She wore an off-white dress so long it covered her shoes. It had ruffles around the neck and cuffs. It looked like it could have been her great-grandmother's wedding dress. Her hair was the color of sand. It fell to her shoulders. Something was strapped across her back, but it wasn't a backpack. At first I thought it was a miniature guitar. I found out later it was a ukulele. She did not carry a lunch tray. She did carry a large canvas bag with a life-size sunflower painted right on it. The lunchroom was dead silent as she walked by. She stopped at an empty table, laid down her bag, and slung the instrument strap across her chair and sat down. She pulled a sandwich from the bag and started to eat. Half of the lunchroom kept staring, half started buzzing, and Kevin was grinning. What did I tell ya? I nodded. She's in 10th grade, he said. She's been homeschooled till now. Maybe that explains it, I said. Her back was to us. I couldn't see her face. No one sat with her, but at the tables next to her, kids were cramming two to a seat. She didn't seem to notice. She seemed maroon in a sea of staring, buzzing faces. Kevin was grinning again. Kevin was grinning again. You thinking what I'm thinking? He said. I grinned back and nodded. The hot seat. The Hot Seat was our in-school television show. We started it the year before. I was the producer and director. Kevin was the on-camera host. Each month, he interviewed a student. So far, most of them had been honor-type students, athletes, model citizens, noteworthy in the usual ways, but nothing especially interesting. Suddenly, Kevin's eyes boggled. The girl was picking up her ukulele, and she was strumming it. And now she was singing, strumming away, bobbing her head, shoulders swinging. I'm looking over a four-leaf clover that I've never looked over before. Stone silence all around. Then came the sound of a single person clapping. I looked. It was the lunch line cashier. And now the girl was standing and slinging her bag over one shoulder, marching among the tables, strumming and singing and strutting and twirling. Her eyes swung, eyes followed her, mouths hung open in disbelief. When she came by our table, I got my first look at her face. She wasn't gorgeous. She wasn't ugly. A sprinkle of freckles across the bridge of her nose. Mostly, she looked like 100 other girls in school, except for two things. She wore no makeup, and her eyes were the biggest I had ever seen. Like a deer's eyes caught in headlights. She twirled as she went past, her flaring skirt brushing my pant leg, and then she marched out of the lunchroom. From among the tables came 3 slow claps. Someone whistled, someone yelped. Kevin and I gawked at each other. Kevin held up his hands, framed the marquee in the air. Hot seat, coming attraction, Stargirl. I slapped the table. Yes! And we slammed hands. Chapter 2. When I got to school the next day, Hillary Kimball was holding court at the door. She is not real, Hillary said. She was sneering. She's an actress. It's totally a scam. Someone called out, "Who's scamming us?" "The administration, the principal. Who else? Who else cares?" Hillary wagged her head in the absurdity of the question. A hand flashed in the air. "Why?" "School spirit," she spat back. "They think this place was too dead last year. They think that if they plant some nutcase in with the students." "Like they plant narcs in schools?" Someone else shouted. Hillary glared at the speaker, then continued. "Some nutcase who stirs things up, and then maybe all the students will go to a game once in a while or join a club. Instead of making out in the library," chimed another voice, and everyone laughed and the bell rang and we all went in. Hillary Kimball's theory spread throughout the school like wildfire and was widely accepted. "Do you think Hillary's right?" Kevin asked me. "Stargirl's a plant?" I snickered. "Listen to yourself." He spread his arms. "What?" "It's Mecca Area High School. This is not a CIA operation." "Maybe not," he said, "but I hope Hillary's right." "Why would you hope that? If she's not a real student, we can't have her on the hot seat." Kevin wagged his head and grinned. "As usual, Mr. Director, you seem to have failed. You failed to see the whole picture. We could use the show to expose her. Can't you see it?" He did the marquee thing again with his hands. "Hot seat uncovers faculty hoax." I stared at him. "So you want her to be fake?" He grinned from ear to ear. "Absolutely. Our ratings will go sky high." I had to admit it. The more I saw her, the easier it was to believe that she was a plant or a joke, but anything but real. On the second day, she wore bright red baggy shorts with a bib and shoulder straps. Those overall shorts. Her sandy hair was pulled back into twin-plaited pigtails. Excuse me. Her each tied with a bright red ribbon. A red smudge went right across each cheek, and she had even dabbed some oversized freckles on her face. She looked like Heidi or Bo Peep. At lunch, she was alone at her table again. As before, she finished her eating and she picked up her ukulele. But this time, she didn't play. She got up and started walking amongst the tables. She stared at us. She stared at one face, and then another, and then another. The kind of bold, "I'm looking at you" stare that you almost never get from people, especially strangers. She appeared to be looking for someone. The whole lunchroom had become very uncomfortable. As she approached our table, I thought, what if she's looking for me? The thought terrified me. So I turned from her and I looked at Kevin, and I watched him grin goofily up at her. He wiggled his fingers and whispered, "Hi, Stargirl." And I didn't hear an answer. I was intensely aware of her passing behind my chair. She stopped 2 tables away. She was smiling at a pudding-bodied senior named Alan Furco. The lunchroom was dead silent. She started strumming the uke and singing. It was Happy Birthday. When she came to his name, she didn't just sing his first name, but his both. Happy birthday, dear Alan Furco. Alan Furco's face turned as bright as Bo Peep's pigtail ribbons. It was the flurry of whistles and hoots, more for Alan's sake, I think, than for hers. As Stargirl marched out, I could see Hillary Kimball cross the lunchroom, raising from her seat, pointing and saying something that I could not hear. I'll tell you one thing, Kevin said, as we joined the mob in the hallways. She'd better be a fake. I asked him what he meant, and he said, I mean, if she's for real, she's in big trouble. How long do you think someone who's really like that is going to last around here? Good question. Mecca Area High School, or MAHS, was not exactly a hotbed of nonconformity. There were individual variants from here to there, of course, but within the pretty narrow limits, we all wore the same clothes, we all talked the same, we all ate the same food, and listened to the same music. Even our dorks and nerds had an MAHS stamp on them. If we happened to somehow distinguish ourselves, we quickly snapped back into place, like rubber bands. Kevin was right. It was unthinkable that Stargirl could survive, or at least survive unchanged among us. But it was also clear that Hillary Kimball was at least half right. This person calling herself Stargirl may or may not have been a faculty plant for school spirit. But whatever she was not real. She couldn't be. Several times in those weeks of September, she showed up with something outrageous, a 1920s flapper dress, an Indian buckskin, a kimono. One day, she even wore a denim miniskirt with green stockings, and crawling up one leg was a parade of enamel ladybug and butterfly pins. Normal for her were wearing long floor-brushing pioneer dresses and skirts. Every few days in the lunchroom, she had serenaded someone with "Happy Birthday." I was glad my birthday was in the summer. In the hallways, she said hello to perfect strangers. The seniors could not believe it. They had never seen a 10th grader so bold. In class, she was always flapping her hand in the air, asking questions, though the question often had nothing to do with the subject. One day, we were in U.S. history class, she asked a question about trolls. She once made up a song about isosceles triangles. She sang it to her plane geometry class. It was called "Three Sides Have I, but Only Two Are Equal." She joined the cross-country team. Our home meets were held in the Micah County Country Club golf course. Red flags showed the runners which way to go. In her first meet, out in the middle of the course, she had turned left when everyone else had turned right. They waited for her at the finish line. She never showed up. She was quickly dismissed from the team. One day, a girl screamed in the hallway. She had seen a tiny brown face pop out of Stargirl's sunflower canvas bag. It was her pet rat. It rode into school in her bag every day. One morning, we had a rare rainfall. That's a tongue twister. Rare rainfall. It came during her gym class. The teacher told everyone to come inside. On the way to the next class, they looked out the window, and Stargirl was still outside in the rain, dancing. We wanted to define her, to wrap her up as we did each other, but we could not seem to get past weird and strange and goofy. Her ways knocked us off balance. A single word seemed to hover in a cloudless sky over the school. Huh? Everything she did seemed to echo Hillary Kimball. She's not real. She is not real. And each night in bed, I thought of her as the moon came through my window. I could have lowered my shade to make it darker and easier to sleep, but I never did. In that moonlit hour, I acquired a sense of the otherness of things. I liked the feeling that the moonlight gave me, as if it wasn't the opposite of day, but its underside, its private side. Then the fabulous purred on my snow-white sheet like some dark cat came in from the desert. It was during one of those moonlight times when it came to me that Hillary Kimball was wrong. Stargirl was real. Thanks for listening.
Oh my goodness, that's so good. I keep forgetting how when I read the beginning of that book, how much I want to get to know Stargirl.
I know, it's like your first reaction.
You want to go like hang out with her and be like, hey,
Can I buy you a cup of coffee?
Let's go do something.
Yes, I need to know everything about you.
Let's go hang out and play the ukulele and let's sing songs.
Let's just start singing to random people.
Yeah, right? That would be, oh man, that'd be so much fun.
I love this book. It's so good. And it gets better from here. It's awesome to watch her journey at Micah High School and figuring it out. And also, there is a sequel to the book, and it's kind of reflecting back on her time at Micah High School, and it's actually written by Stargirl. So the sequel is just as awesome. It's called Love Stargirl. So it's like one big letter to the school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, really quick, because I know you've got to go soon. Favorite book?
Stargirl.
Okay, that's why you read it. Okay.
Number one favorite.
Now, when did you read this? Was this like in middle school? Was this like just recently?
I think it was when I was in middle school, honestly. I had a friend in middle school, and I was reading this book, and I don't know why I picked it up. I think it's just because it didn't have a title. Just the picture, two pictures were the title. And I saw it, and immediately as I read it, it reminded me of one of my friends. And I was like, you are Stargirl to me. Yeah. And it was really cool. But the thing, I think the reason why it stuck with me so much more, it's kind of sentimental, that friend of mine passed away. And so now I get to I feel like I get to encounter that friend repeatedly over and over. And so it's like my little keepsake to remember her by. So that's really why I love it, yeah.
And one last question, what are you reading right now?
Okay, so I am a major series person. Started at Harry Potter, went to Hunger Games, did Twilight for a little bit. Like anything that comes in a series, I'm already excited about. So I got excited about Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Yes, and I'm definitely like to listen to audiobooks. That way, I drive back and forth between Colorado a lot, and so I can listen to a book. So I did Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Then I moved on to the second one. Oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking on
Hollow City,
Yeah,
right?
Hollow City. Yep. And I'm just now going to start Library of Souls.
Yeah, because that's pretty new, isn't it? Didn't it just come out just a little while ago?
So I think I made a good choice right when I started reading, the first movie came out.
Now, the movie's out, right? And you've seen it?
Yes.
How did the adaptation go?
I was not disappointed.
Okay, all right, good. They didn't ruin it.
I didn't, people will disagree with me, and that's fine. But I felt it did a good job. It did switch two of the major characters, which is interesting. You will only catch that if you read the book. But two of the page characters got switched in their roles. So, but other than that, it's a good one. I like it. It's I encourage it. It's like it looks creepy, but it's not that creepy.
See, that's why I haven't read it, because I don't do scary stories.
I haven't watched a scary movie.
And when I saw the trailer for the movie, I was like, whoa, that sounds good.
Yeah. It's not scary. It just, the pictures look scary on the cover. So I promise it's not scary.
I will have to try that out.
And I am the biggest wuss, so if I can advocate for it.
I'm the same way. I'm like, I like to sleep at night.
Yeah, it's enjoyable. There are some weird parts, but then you're like, no, it's not weird. It's a kid's book for sure.
Okay, good deal.
All right, well, thanks for listening, you guys. Check out Stargirl. It's awesome. Bye.